Hey, everybody. Good evening. I am thrilled to be here. I hope that you are too. I give everybody until 8:03 to hop on this webinar. So while we are waiting, we are going to do a little bit of housekeeping and get to know each other. If you will, take a brief moment and look down at your chat feature. And it says the word to, and then it has a colon, and then it says all panelists. I want you to click there on that drop-down menu, and I want you to click all panelists and attendees. Okay, so click there. That way everybody sees your comment. It's very helpful when people know what kind of questions I am answering when they are asked, and that I'm not just giving random information out. Hey, Jennifer, I'm glad you're here with us. When you hop on, please tell me who you are, where you are from, if you are here for a refresh or if you're brand new. And we will just get started with that while we give it till 8:03. I do 8:03 because that is a great time for, it gives people time if they were having any technology issues to hop on. Hey, Ellen from Louisville, welcome. Hey, Jennifer from Ringgold, Georgia, brand new. We're glad you're here. Hey, Rhonda from Powder Springs doing a refresh. Amazing, awesome. Hey, Bob and Margaret, awesome. Ellen is brand new, welcome. Hey, Angela from South Carolina. Angela, if you don't mind, set your chat to all panelists and attendees for me. Rhonda from Apex, North Carolina, brand new. Christy, I just let you, Christy, into the Facebook group. I just saw your name come up. Cedartown, Georgia, brand new. Lee Brooks from Lafayette, new, welcome. Lee, if you don't mind, set your chat to all panelists and attendees as well. Bob's here for a refresh, yes. I understand. I'm glad y'all are here for that. That is awesome. Okay, we got 2 more minutes. So what I would like to know is, how did you hear about Shibboleth? And hello on Facebook. Hey, Kayla and Sonia and Lisa and Shonda. And Sonia is from Lafayette. Hey, Brandy. Awesome. Glad y'all are here. I know that y'all are on Facebook, but if you want to pop over into the Zoom room, the chat just goes, oh, good. Kayla's in the Zoom room. Okay. Yes, Kayla, Zoom room is better because you get real-time comments. Facebook is a little bit delayed. Okay, so Angela heard from a family member named Rosie. Let's see, Christy heard from a coworker. Jennifer, okay, Jennifer, you were one of the Catoosa County government people. Awesome, I'm glad, I knew we did that. That's fantastic. That is really great that the county wanted to do that for y'all. Rhonda says that she heard about Shibboleth through her husband, who noticed my weight loss at a business meeting at their church. And Kayla has heard from several people. Yes, a lot of people from Kayla's church are in there. Kayla, if you don't mind, set your chat to all panelists and attendees. Just click on it and it'll do a little drop down and you can choose that. Lisa from Cartersville for a refresh and heard from a friend at church. I think that is awesome. Y'all, we are going to learn to take care of his temple. Hey, Shonda from Ackworth. Hey, Jimmy and Claire. Awesome, Kayla. Thank you. Oh, and Ellen heard from Rhonda McDonald. That's awesome. Rhonda is almost to 100 pounds lost. Hey, Alice. I got Alice all registered up for tonight yesterday. I'm so glad you're here. And Alice, if you don't mind, set your chat to all panelists and attendees for me, okay? Well, it's 8:03, so we are going to go ahead and we are going to get started learning the absolute best information that you can ever know. This is really what I had always been looking for in life as a little guideline and way to take care of myself and the Lord's temple, but I just never had it all packaged together in this one program. So I'm very thrilled about that. I want to start off tonight with a quote. Oh, Bob, Rhonda is your sister-in-law. That's awesome. Good. I saw her and Paul yesterday. They came to the Shibby shop yesterday. Fantastic. They are so sweet. I love them. So I'm going to start off with a quote from Amanda Hicks. Amanda Hicks, you can actually see her picture on the front of the myshibboleth.com website. I think it's when you're logged out, I'm not sure, but she's lost 111 pounds, and she's actually going to be not performing or participating is what it is, in a competition. She's going to be in a competition now. So it's a sports model competition and a transformation competition. I mean, that's just so awesome. But this is a quote by Amanda Hicks. She says, "You've always heard everything in moderation. Shibboleth gives you that way to measure moderation." Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, we've heard that, but moderation is different to different people. So now we have a way to measure moderation. Everything that you learn tonight is going to be very concrete things that you can start applying tomorrow. And there's going to be 5 components that we go over tonight. 4 of them don't even really have to do with what you're eating. So you can put those in play tomorrow. Hold on. Excuse me. What I see Shibboleth as, it's a management system, and I really appreciate this management system. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to share my screen with you. You know what? After I introduce myself, I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Kim Dahnke. I found Shibboleth last year in April. I wanted to lose 35.5 pounds, but the Lord gave me a 50-pound weight loss in 5 months, and I've been maintaining that for over a year. I do have a master's degree in education. I was a principal and a teacher. And when I saw that this is really just the education, the nutrition education that we are missing, I just wanted to be a part of helping people. And so that's why I'm here tonight on this webinar. All right, I'm going to share my screen. We are going to do a PowerPoint tonight. Now, I know a lot of people get concerned that they are not going to have access to what they see on the screen while they're watching a webinar. I want to assure you that you will. It is on the website. It's on the Shibboleth website, this is. So it's right underneath tonight's video, and I'll show you in the end how to access this. So the reason I tell you that is you don't need to sit there and take screenshots and stuff, because that's distracting, and I don't want you to be distracted. If you're going to do anything tonight, I would like for you to take notes, because those notes will help you out with the questions that I ask tomorrow night, because tomorrow night's webinar is all about the food and what you can combine and put together, and you may want to answer those questions. Okay, so this is a lifestyle. It is not a diet. We are going to teach you how to eat in a way that controls insulin and to apply some other daily disciplines to your life, and that you can live a wonderful lifestyle. So it is not a diet. All right, so I don't want us to call it that. And I'm your fast track instructor. So what I do tonight is I'm going to boil this whole thing down to the basics. It's almost like you're learning a new language. It's not a hard language. It's not complicated. But in order to be successful, you do need to know the terminology that we're going to use. So when you're looking at the website and you're reading any documents, or you're having a conversation on Facebook with some people in the Facebook groups, you'll know what they're talking about. Okay, so that's why I just boil it down to the basics. So there are 2 modes in Shibboleth. You are either in weight loss mode or you're in maintenance mode. Both of these modes are different nutritional situations, and we're trying to teach you how to make great decisions about food and self-discipline in each of these situations. So 2 modes, weight loss or maintenance. There are 3 differences. Hey, Teresa Mullins Woods on Facebook. There are 3 differences between these 2 modes. One of them is the number of holidays that you can have in a calendar month. 2 is simply how you eat fruit. I know that sounds funny, we'll go over that. And 3 is your mindset. Most people, when they come in, they think of this as a diet and they treat it like a diet in the beginning, but I don't want you to have to do that, okay? Let's treat it as the lifestyle that it is, but I do realize that in the beginning, that diet mindset, but we got to get this over to the mindset of a lifestyle. That way, you know, you need to be on the right trajectory for life, okay? Because some people with diets stop those diets and go back the other way. And we don't want that. We want to always be moving forward, always making progress, okay? There are 2 types of days. a perfect day, or a holiday. In the Bible, in the book of Revelation, it says that I wish that you were hot or cold, but you were lukewarm. Therefore, I spewed you out of my mouth. We're going to either have a perfect day or we're going to have a holiday. We're not having okay days. It's all of the okay days that we've had in life that have gotten us to where we need to turn around and go the other way. So we're going to do it right, or we're going to have a holiday and we can enjoy that holiday, but we need to have way more perfect days and holidays, and we have a management system to help you with that. If you have joined as a lifetime member and you have already started playing around in your journal, when you clicked on what type of day you were having, you probably had 8 different types of perfect days to look at. Please don't get overwhelmed by that at all. This week and in the beginning, all we are focused on is a perfect day or a holiday. Those other days are days that you can use in the future to advance. So just know that if you want to advance along in the future, that you can do that. But right now, perfect day or holiday is our focus. So how many holidays are allowed? So when you are in weight loss mode, you can use up to 6 holidays in a calendar month. Once you get to maintenance, and what maintenance means is that you're at your goal weight, and we earn badges in Shibboleth, and you will have earned your victory badge for that. At that point in time, if you would like to move yourself over to maintenance, and there is a little drop-down menu, you can choose that in your profile, and that way you get the right amount of holidays available in the management system, your timing chart, and your journal. But once you get into maintenance mode, you can use up to 12 holidays if you want to. And you might be thinking, how in the world could I do 12 holidays and still maintain that? That is because the other 18 or 19 days, depending on how many, I think I got that right. How many days are in a month? The other days need to be truly perfect days. And if they are, you will maintain your success. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing over the last year. But right now, and in this week, we are going to be focusing on 6 holidays. So that's really all I'm going to mention to you this week is up to 6 holidays. And a holiday is simply where you are not having a perfect day. And we're going to see this right here. How do I have a perfect day? You are going to follow the Shibboleth shield. Now, Shibboleth is an interesting word, and I want you to watch the video that Travis did called the Shibboleth Origins. It is marked as an announcement in the Facebook group, and I want you to watch that because it'll tell you how he came up with the name and it'll tell you where his heart is behind this, okay? So to have a perfect day, you're going to follow the Shibboleth shield. After just 2 perfect days, and you're already turning your life around. After 2 perfect days, you get your body into EFB, efficient fat burning. And that's exactly what we want to do. There's a lot of people out there trying to lose weight, but they're not doing it efficiently. And so the things that we teach you in this lifestyle will help you do that in an efficient way. Okay, so EFB is going to be your best friend. You're going to love EFB. But the 5 components of the Shibboleth shield are water, journal, combinations, portions, and timing. And we're going to go over each one of those in a separate slide, but I do want to elaborate on combinations real quick. I call that one eating in a way that controls insulin. It's really important for you to understand. So component number 1 of the shield is to drink your water. In fact, I was working on mine a second ago. I'm almost finished. I've got that little bitty part left. You want to get in at least a half a gallon of water each day. That's simply 64 ounces. That's 4 regular sized water bottles. But your goal is really a gallon, unless the doctor has told you that you shouldn't get a gallon in for some kidney or bladder problem that you might have. But most people don't have that problem, okay? So we're going to be shooting for a gallon. That'd be up to 128 ounces. Let me just tell you, if you are focused on getting that water in, you are going to be mentally and physically satisfied, and it's going to be much easier to accomplish these behavior modification changes that you're trying to make. Also, the water does need to be nice, clean, clear water. I will add like a Spark or a Celsius to something. but only after I know I've had 64 ounces of clean, clear water. All right, we want clean, clear water. A dehydrated body will not efficiently give up fat or waste. And we need our body to be doing both of those things. In your very first week of Shibboleth, we are going to be normalizing our hydration levels. So that's going to be a great thing. A lot of what you lose in the first week well, some of it's going to be fat, but a lot of it's going to be some water weight that just needed to be normalized. But I want you to know that even losing water weight is an awesome thing. It's water that you are carrying around. It did take up space and it weighed something. So that's a great thing that we're going to have that water and hydration normalization this week, and we're going to have some fat loss, both. For children, Kayla, I would at least get in 64 ounces for kids, Kayla, 4 water bottles. And we'll have to ask that question specifically, but at least the 64. I will make sure that I ask though and give you that message via messenger, give you the answer via messenger just to make sure, but I would at least do the 64. Okay, component number 2 of the shield is to journal. This one is so important, but sometimes it's the one that I have the hardest time getting people to do because they think it's going to take up so much time. It is not going to take up that much time. If journaling takes you 5 minutes in a day, that is 35 minutes in a week, okay? And we have a lot of minutes in a week, okay? So we can do this journaling bit. You can journal on the website, you can journal on the computer, you can journal on the mobile-friendly website, on your phone, you can journal on the app, but you want to write down everything you put in your mouth, everything. If you are not writing down what you put in your mouth and you ask us for a journal review, we will not be able to see what you're doing. We will not be able to help you. I also love journaling because it creates your future meal plans on those weeks that you've had, a string of perfect days. You're creating your own future meal plans. So it's really important to write down what you're eating. There are no idle bites on planet Shibboleth. You now live on planet Shibboleth. You're a citizen of planet Shibboleth. There are no idle bites. If you put it in here, you write it down. So if you bite it, you write it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. If you drink it, you ink it. And if you hog it, you log it. Okay. And that's really important too, because typically when you hog something, it's things that you like and you enjoy. Well, we're going to want to look at your journal and help you figure out what to eat instead. Okay, so write down everything that you eat, and that is called journaling. Component number 3 is to eat in a way that controls insulin. We're going to eat properly combined meals. Properly combined meals keep away the fat bus. Now, the fat bus is insulin. And we're going to talk about what insulin does in a minute on another page. But insulin has got to be controlled for us to be able to access and burn stored body fat. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to access and burn stored body fat. We don't want to lose muscle. We don't want to lose heart mass. We don't want to lose pieces and parts of our ligaments and tendons. We are focusing in on that fat storage. So that's what we want to do. But we got to eat the properly combined meals to do that. This one is a biggie. So the whole webinar, the whole 1 hour webinar tomorrow night is on this one. I am going to hit one slide tonight on it to give you some ideas because I need to start building that framework of knowledge for you. But this one is big. So please don't miss tomorrow night's webinar, okay? And you will learn more about insulin in just a minute. So component number 4 of the shield is to portion control. In fact, most people, when they think, I need to lose weight, they automatically think they need to start eating less. Well, that's true, and we do. Portion control. You know, our stomachs really aren't even that big. Our stomachs are really only about, don't even look at my little, their stomachs are only about that big. That doesn't even, we overeat, basically. I was too. Everybody mostly does. But portion controls is what we want to do. So 1 pound of fat, you might want to write this down for tomorrow night because I'll ask this tomorrow night. 1 pound of fat has 3,500 calories in it, 3,500 calories. So in order to lose 1 pound of fat, we have to be in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. And that's not going to happen in one day. That's going to happen over a course of days. And then we will lose that. Now, if we on the reverse side, if we overeat by 3,500 calories and they don't get burned, we're going to gain a pound of fat. Okay, so I love Shibboleth because I'm not a calorie counter. I'm really not even that detailed when it comes to like measuring, weighing, calorie counting. That is not up my alley. So if it is up your alley, we can help you, but it's really not even, you don't have to even worry about it. We carry around our measuring tools with us everywhere we go. Right here. These are our measuring tools. Carry them around everywhere we go. So what you would do to measure your food is you're going to put a properly combined meal, one that's going to control insulin, on your plate, on a 6 to 8 inch plate. And when I say 8 inch plate, I don't mean using the 2 inch rim around the outside. It's the 6 inches on the inside. But you're going to do that, and you're going to put your hands, see, I'm going to move my fingers as close together as possible. I'm going to move my thumbs out of the way so I cannot see them. I'm going to put my hands together. I'm going to put my hands like that, and I'm going to lower them down over my food. And then I'm going to look. And can I see my food or not? If I cannot see my food, it's properly portioned. That is so simple, and I love it, okay? You also don't want it to be any thicker than the thickest part of your hand. So basically, you're not piling up your Thanksgiving plate, putting your hands up here and saying, I can't see it, okay? So no thicker than the thickest part of your hand, and you put your hands together, and then you just make sure you can't see it. Then you're portion controlled. So we want to make sure that we do the portion control. And you know, portion control is actually really, really important, but one of the secrets, and see, that's all, Shibboleth is all about teaching you the secrets to weight loss. One of the secrets is controlling insulin. So we supercharge our results of portion control with the insulin control. Now, a person may eat 1,200 calories of Moose Tracks ice cream or 1,200 calories of chicken breast. They don't respond in the same way. The person who's eating 1,200 calories of Moose Tracks ice cream, guess what? They could still lose weight because they are going into a calorie deficit. But will they look good after they've done it? No, because they have not been giving themselves the proper macronutrients like protein and things like that. So we got to eat the right foods and with the right portions, and it'll all come together. So we've gone over 4 components of the shield. They are water, journaling, combinations, and portion. These 4 must be met in order for you to say that you've had a perfect day. But there are 5 components to the shield. But the 5th one is all about optimizing what you do. So let's go over that right now. So component number 5 of the shield is timing. And Travis likes to call this the bulletproof shield, because if you will use this shield, just blocking yourself from any bullets that might come your way, it will protect you. I call it filtering my decisions through the shield. So if I wake up in the morning, I start thinking about the shield and meeting those every single day, because these are very concrete, very actionable, and very measurable steps that you can take to achieve these daily disciplines in your life to get the results that you want. So as for timing, you can do up to 3 meals a day, and you should give yourself some digesting time between those meals. 4 to 6 hours between meals is really what you want to do. Now, here's one of the things, let's think about this. There's a lot of people out there that have digestive issues. One reason they have digestive issues is that their body is always digesting. We have got, this is a machine, our body is a machine. If you overwork a machine, the machine will eventually break down. So if we're overworking our digestive system, it's eventually going to break down. Well, if you start to correct that with timing and giving yourself a break from digesting, you will see results from that very, very quickly. So we're going to do up to 3 meals a day, 4 to 6 hours apart. What that looks like for me typically is I eat breakfast around 8, I eat lunch around noon, and I know I'm kind of weird. I eat dinner at 4, but usually, but really never after 6 if something's going on in the afternoon. but that's what I do. I know I'm kind of weird, but most you can do it however you want to, but you do want to give yourself those 4 to 6 hours between meals. Now, in moments of what we call mental weakness, because we really could make it from breakfast to lunch, we really could make it from lunch to dinner, and we really could make it from dinner to bedtime. But in those moments of mental weakness, we can use things called freebies, an extra, and a snack. So freebies are actually unlimited. So you could do as many freebies as you wanted to. You could do up to 1 extra in a day and 1 snack. And you might be thinking, hey, what's an extra? What's a snack? Well, part of you walking yourself through the new fast track laps that were just introduced last Sunday is you figuring out the extras that you might like and the snacks that you might like. All of these items would need to be approved items from the food library. And an extra is just something that typically I see it in the 35 to 90 calorie range, and it wouldn't bring a sugar, a blood sugar spike and things like that. And then a snack is no more than 200 calories, and it would need to be approved. And it is what it is. But what I would try to do, because there are good, better, and best, okay? A good Shibboleth, regular Shibboleth day could be 3 meals, freebies, an extra, and a snack. That would be a good Shibboleth day, and you will still see results. They may not be as fast as you want, so maybe you look at what might be a better day. A better day might be 3 meals and freebies without an extra or a snack. And then one of the best Shibboleth days that you can have are those 3 meals a day. Now, a lot of people ask me about when I did the weight loss last year. I only did 3 meals a day. That's what I did. Now that I'm in maintenance, I typically do 3 meals and either an extra or a snack, or sometimes both. But I'm not in the same nutritional situation that I was last year, and I am able to do that and not have a weight increase. So I do. But let's look at bullet point number 4 down here. Keep in mind that we have got to stop grazing. So grazing is a problem. Grazing is that overworking of our digestive system, and we want to make sure that we stop grazing. So let's look at what I said that good, perfect day was. 3 meals, unlimited freebies, an extra, and a snack. That looks like grazing, okay? And if we are attempting to modify that behavior where we are not grazing, then you're going to want to possibly shoot for one of those better days. But what I always like to tell everybody, let's shooting for that 3 meals in a day, and you get to evening time and you really want a freebie, have a freebie. You still had a perfect day, okay? I'd rather you have a freebie than throw your hands up in the air and go eat a bag of Lay's honey roasted barbecue chips, okay, or something like that. But I hope that is making sense to everybody. Y'all give me some thumbs up or some hearts if that is making sense to you. Oops. So now we've hit the timing component. So you can see how the timing component doesn't have to be hit exactly just right. Good. Doesn't have to be hit just right because we're all living different lives, and we all have different work schedules and children's schedules and all kinds of schedules. So you're going to do your timing based on what works out for you and your family. But we do want to not graze. We do want to give our body that break from digesting, and these are the things that you can utilize in a perfect day. So we're going to go and we're going to talk about what you need to know in order to combine a perfect meal, a properly combined meal, okay? There are 7 categories of food. So whole foods, and what we're talking about is whole foods, but obviously there's some breads and there's all kinds of other things on the lifestyle, but I'm just going to talk about some whole food things tonight. So there's 7 categories of food. These foods have been divided up into these categories based on their nutritional value and how they respond in your body. So when you see, like this is a combination chart right here. This is a simple combination chart. This blue area would be more like a lifestyle column. This yellow one is going to be faster weight loss, and then this red column is going to be your blowtorch column, meaning if you stay in this red column, you're going to be blowtorching fat like you'd blowtorch butter if you stay right here in this column. But I actually have a combination chart that I like a little bit better. It's the Shibboleth Advanced Combination Chart. And right above the fast track videos in the library, there's 10 blue links that you're going to explore this week doing your fast track laps. And just know that my favorite combination chart is the advanced one. I think y'all can handle it, but this one fit better on the page right here. So here it is. So when you see a 1, which is right here, a 1, that doesn't mean quantity there. That means the category number. And you see this that says LP right here. There's an LP, lean protein. So anytime you see a category 1 or the letters LP, that's a lean protein. That's where chicken breast, egg whites, 96% lean ground meat. Number 2, or category 2, or an FC, fibrous carb, that's where your cauliflower, green beans are also over 60 approved breads or bread type items. We do not exclude any macronutrients on this lifestyle, okay? If you ever have heard about a lifestyle where you need to exclude certain macronutrients, it's not one that is sustainable for life. It might do the job short term, but it's not sustainable. So we don't exclude any macronutrients. We just teach you how to use them. Category 3 is also known as an EC, or an energy carb. That is where all of your potatoes are, corn, lima beans, most of your lighter colored beans are there. Category 4, or PF, is protein plus fat. Protein plus fat. This is where your whole eggs are. It's also where steak is. And then 93 up to 95.9% lean ground meat. This is also where pork chops are, things like that. Category 5, or FR, is fruit. All your fruit is there. On some of our documents, it might say antioxidant carb or AC, but just know that that's fruit. And where you're getting that from is those beautiful colors in the fruit have a lot of, in the skin and stuff has a lot of antioxidants in it, and they're really good for you. We just have to treat fruit differently during weight loss, and we'll talk about that in a second. Category 6, or SF, is a superfood. Now, this is where you're going to find your nut butters, your nuts, your seeds, avocados, and all of your darker colored beans. That's going to be a superfood. Now, if you are taking notes, please write this down because I will ask tomorrow night. A superfood qualifies to be a superfood because it has all 4 macronutrients in there. Now, you might be, if you've studied nutrition before, you might be thinking, this lady's crazy. There's not 4 macronutrients, there's 3. Well, we live on planet Shibboleth, and water is a very important macronutrient to us. And it's also a 0-calorie macronutrient, so that's wonderful. So a superfood is going to have water in it. It's going to have protein in it, carbs, and fat. So a superfood is going to have all 4 of those macronutrients in there. And then when you see a category 7, or the abbreviation SHF, it's going to be shellfish. And then look right here at in parentheses, which is really just a lean protein. So let's have a look at that. Number 1 and number 7. So category 1 and category 7, it's kind of like the bookends of the categories, all right? They can be used exactly the same way, The only reason that shellfish really became like a subcategory of lean protein is because due to biblical reasons and medical reasons, some people do not want to eat shellfish. And so it got pulled off in its own category. So look right here in this red column. That's a shellfish, that's shellfish cooked in MCT oil. This is shellfish with a fibrous carb. This is shellfish with a fibrous carb cooked in MCT oil. If you don't like shellfish, you can just, if you printed this out, you just draw a line through your shellfish combinations because you don't even need to worry about them. But that's why it's pulled off. But it really can be used exactly the same. So if you ever hear anybody tell you you need a lean protein with that, it can come from category 1 or category 7. We do put just all fish in general in the lean protein category. But shellfish are all those things that aren't fish, and they don't even have to have a shell. Let's say, for example, octopus. Octopus does not have a shell, but we would put that in that shellfish category. Okay, so there are two really important things I want you to write down while we're teaching this. What I need you to do is I need you to understand that there are some categories that you must combine properly. And then there's one category that I teach you what not to eat with it. Okay, so we're going to look at that. So the fastest fat burning meal is actually a category, a lean protein. So it could come from a 1 or a 7, a lean protein and a fibrous carb cooked in MCT oil. That is your fastest fat burning combination. We will go over MCT oil on a later slide. So 1 and 2 goes great together, and your 7 and your 2 go great together. So maybe you put chicken and broccoli together, maybe you put shrimp and broccoli together. I just use really easy examples tonight. Tomorrow we start going over more foods. But let's say that you really have a hankering for some lima beans. And lima beans are an energy carb. I have my brain trained to go, energy carb, ding, ding, ding. I must combine that properly. So what that might look like is I take some lima beans and I put the lima beans right here underneath my hand. Maybe I use my fingers as my measuring tool. About 1/4 cup is really plenty for that. You might be thinking that's really not much, but if we're portion controlling, you're going to have 3 flavors on your plate in this situation rather than just 2. So you have to think about those things. So let's say you have some lima beans and you've learned, I'm going to eat some lima beans. I must combine them with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. I'm going to keep it simple. Chicken breast, you can put your chicken breast as your protein source right here under this hand, and maybe you do some green beans, okay, under your palm here. So then we would put our hands together, lower our hands down over our food, and if we can't see it, we're all good, okay? Now, I'm going to teach you what is happening inside your body when you eat this. The lima beans, because they're carbs, okay, but they're good carbs. They're good carbs. We just have to deal with them in the right way. There are things out there that aren't good carbs, those man-made carbs, but lima beans are made by the Lord. They're good carbs. We just have to eat them properly. So we're going to eat those lima beans. Those lima beans create a blood sugar elevation, okay? Insulin comes out to regulate that blood sugar. Now, when it comes out to regulate the blood sugar, we need to deal with that insulin because insulin collects fat if you are going to eat any fat later in the day or anything like that. But in the example that I gave you, there is no fat in that food. A lean protein, if there's any fat in that chicken, it is negligible. There's no fat in the green beans and lima beans. They don't have any fat in them either. It's just that they're carby, so they brought an insulin release. Well, the insulin release came out and it's got to be dealt with. So to deal with that insulin release, we're going to eat it with a lean protein source and a fibrous carb. And the protein in the lean protein and the fiber in the fibrous carb are going to neutralize the insulin release that came from the lima beans. And you're going to stay with a great level blood sugar. So if you're diabetic or know anybody that's diabetic or pre-diabetic, this is what you need to know. This is desperately what you need to know. So you got to eat in a way that controls insulin. So in the same exact way, this is how we treat fruit. So let's say that you want to have some strawberries for breakfast. You're going to have some strawberries, and maybe you make yourself an egg white, because that would be a lean protein, spinach, that would be your fibrous carbs, omelet. So the berries, and honestly, the berries are the lowest glycemic fruit. So they're actually the best, but they still bring a little bit of an insulin release, and we just put all fruit together to keep you safe. So fruit is going to an insulin release, but the protein in the egg whites and the fiber in the spinach are going to help neutralize the insulin release that came from the fruit. But you still have a delicious meal. I mean, a delicious meal. You're still going to portion control. And on those berries, you could probably do 1/2 cup of the berries and then the egg white spinach omelet. Okay. And if you don't like egg whites and if you don't like spinach, You just need to figure out what you do like. Maybe you like non-fat Greek yogurt or low-fat cottage cheese or fat-free cottage cheese. Maybe you like that. So I'm just giving examples. But part of our job this week, and you're going to be working your way through a worksheet called the New Member Fast Track Worksheet. I'm going to show you an example. You're going to be working through a worksheet this week, and that's going to help you create your favorites, okay? Because really, you don't have to eat anything you don't like on Planet Shibboleth, but you do have to go through the act of finding out which foods you like in these categories, okay? So that you can combine them properly. Y'all, my nose is itching tonight. You see me still, I've never scratched my nose so much on a webinar, but excuse me, I'm sorry about that. But then you want to make sure. So again, the fruit, I've got my brain going ding, 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 must combine that properly. So if you are going to eat, if you're writing notes down, this is great. If you are going to eat a category 3, which is an energy carb, or a category 5, which is fruit, it must be combined with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. And that lean protein, you have both categories to choose from, 1 and 2. Okay, so now let me talk about why fruit has to be treated different. Remember when I said that there is 2 modes, weight loss and maintenance, and one of the differences between the 2 modes is how you eat fruit? When you are in weight loss, we really want to control that insulin big time so that we can have the best results. So if you're going to eat fruit, it must be combined properly. When you get to maintenance, if you're eating a meal, you still want to combine fruit properly. But if you also choose to have a piece of fruit as a snack, as your snack for the day, you can do that too. So you can add in a little bit more, but you know you're in a different nutritional situation when you're in maintenance. So you want to make sure that you treat that the right way. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to teach you is what not to eat in a certain way, because I have to teach it to you this way because it's the only way that makes sense. Protein plus fat. So this is where your whole eggs and things like that. If you want to eat a protein plus fat, I need you to know what you don't eat it with, okay? So you don't eat it with energy carbs, fruit, or superfoods. Here's why. Energy carbs, fruit, you already know they bring an insulin release from my last example, and superfoods, because they have all 4 macronutrients in them, they bring more of an insulin release too. Then you don't want to eat them with a protein plus fat, because if you have an insulin release, I want you to be teaching yourself right now, if you have an insulin release and there's fat in your system, it's going to go and collect it. So let's think about the classic plate of a steak and a baked potato. The steak and a baked potato is, you're going to eat the steak. The steak is actually good for you. I mean, there's great protein in it, and the fats that are in there are God-made fats. Our body needs fats for certain functions, and so we're just going to, our body will use that up. It'll use that fat up as energy, and it will go away. But the problem comes in is when we ate it with the potato. So the potato, and especially if you're eating out or you didn't buy a bag with the little small potatoes in it, the potatoes aren't even reasonably sized. So we eat this big old potato, and it doesn't just elevate our blood sugar, it spikes our blood sugar, and doses and doses and doses of insulin come out. So insulin is actually coming out to do its job. It's coming out to regulate the blood sugar to protect you, to keep you safe. So it's coming out to do its job. But we also are overworking that system too when we eat like that. So again, that's another part of your machine that can break down. So when that comes out, it comes out to do a job. But you know how we call it the fat bus because it's going to go around and pick up that fat. But I like to give this example. You know how the dog goes outside to do what it needs to do in the yard. So the dog goes out, but if a squirrel runs through the yard, boom, that dog is gone. So let's think about that insulin that came out. The insulin comes out to regulate that blood sugar, but it saw fat lipids in your system too. Boom, that insulin is gone to go pick up the fat lipids and store them. We don't want that to happen. So instead of having that steak with a baked potato, let's eat it with a fibrous carb. Maybe you choose green beans. Maybe you choose a side salad, broccoli, cauliflower, any of those things. Okay. So let's go over that new classic plate for you. You eat the steak. You're getting great protein. You're getting fats that aren't going to hurt you unless they're not portion controlled. You didn't eat it with the potato. There was no insulin release. You ate it with broccoli. There was no insulin release. So therefore, there is no fat storage from that steak. Is that not mind-blowing? It's very scientific. I mean, I can't even look at food the same way now. I'm like, that's the fat bus, that's the fat bus, that's the fat bus, that's not happening. So anyway, that's important. Are y'all excited? Y'all tell me if you're excited, because this is really cool stuff. Now, I want to go over one more thing before we leave this slide. There's 7 categories of food. 5 of these categories don't even have to be combined. You could eat them by themselves. So I'm just going to, if you're writing this down, please do. Category 1, category 2, category 4, category 6, and category 7. They can all be eaten by themselves. You'll notice that we skipped these that bring more of an insulin release, right? We skipped those. You shouldn't eat them by themselves. But I do want to touch base on this protein plus fat. A lot of people will question that if they have been around a long time. And Travis used to say that you had to eat it with a category 2 fibrous carb, but he has changed his mind. As he continues to learn, he continues to pass that knowledge on to us. We can have a protein plus fat by itself. So that just means that if you want to wake up in the morning and you eat eggs, you could have some scrambled eggs and you will have a properly combined meal, and you didn't even have to combine anything. So, and this really comes in handy for me because I go to a lot of luncheons. I work for a roofing company and I'm in business development for them, and I do a lot of luncheons. So when I go to these luncheons, like I said, I'm like fat bus, fat bus, fat bus, fat bus, but I'll get to the end and I'm like, oh, chicken, or oh, salmon, or oh, steak. I eat it, but mainly the steak on this one. Oh no, that actually would be all of that, and I'll tell you why on the next slide. But I can eat that by itself, and I just would have a meal. That's fine. But see, I don't do that all the time. I mean, optimally, you'd eat it with a category 2, but if it just works out that you need to eat it by itself, you can. All right. Now, tomorrow night's webinar is on all of this again and more. So just recap. The most important rules of food combination. Category 1 or 7, which is your lean proteins, combined with a fibrous carb and cooked up in MCT oil is your fastest fat burning combination. Okay, that is awesome. We call that exercise on a plate because the amount of calories that were in that food are going to get burned up digesting that food. And you added a little bit of jet fuel right here in this MCT oil. If you want to eat a category 3 or a category 5, you must eat it lean protein, which is either one of these categories, and a 2. So that's a must and an and. And then we just don't eat category 4s, which are our protein plus fat. We don't eat those with energy carbs, fruit, or superfoods. And all meat at a restaurant should be considered a category 4. Here's why. Even if it was a piece of chicken that at home you cooked, it would be a lean protein. In the restaurant, you don't know what oil they cooked it in. So basically, they took a meal, and I took a piece of chicken that was a lean, they've cooked oil into it, and that turned it into a protein plus fat. Okay, so all meat at a restaurant should be considered a category 4. We do that to keep you safe, because if you're counting that as a 4, you're not going to order 3s, which are your energy carbs, 5s, which are your fruits, and 6s, which is your superfoods. You're not going to order that with a 4 because you don't eat them with that. So all meat at a restaurant should be considered a 4. Okay, now, one of the secret alerts that you just learned was combining foods in a way that control insulin, because your ability to control insulin has a big effect on your ability to access and burn stored energy. And we are coming right now to another secret alert: medium chain triglycerides. So if you are currently using olive oil, vegetable oil, or canola oil, those are not approved for a perfect day. They're not approved for a perfect day. They have a great propensity to be stored on the body as fat. They are a long chain triglyceride and they're very tightly woven. They are hard to break down. They take a long time to burn up. Most of us, I mean, myself, I'm talking to myself, aren't out there doing any major exercise to help burn that off, and it's just getting stored. So that right there is a problem. So we do not want to use long chain triglycerides. We suggest that you use medium chain triglycerides. You're going to look for 100% medium chain triglycerides, 100%. What that is it's you're going to, if you look for MCT oil and it says MCT oil on the bottom, flip the bottle over and look at it. The ingredients need to say medium chain triglycerides. It should not say medium chain triglycerides from coconut oil. Okay, so the reason I want to make that separation is because you can see that our number 2 recommended oil is coconut oil, but coconut oil is 60% MCTs, not 100. So there's your distinction. Ghee butter is just butter. It's just been clarified. I do want to make the distinction between a meal replacement that we have called ghee butter. This is ghee butter, Ghee. So it's just butter that's been clarified, and I think there's 40% MCTs in that. And then you could use hemp oil, which I don't really recommend in the beginning because it's good for wellness purposes, but there's not a lot of MCTs in it. And then you can use 0-calorie cooking spray. So let me go back to this MCT oil real quick, okay? So MCT oil is like, this coconut oil has 60% MCTs. It's kind of like all of the MCTs have been pulled out and we're just doing MCT oil, 100%. And we do sell one in our store. I do recommend that you buy it because I know it's the best. The reason I say it's the best is because it has been optimized for cooking. We're only using MCT oil for cooking purposes, and our MCT oil has 100 calories per 1 tablespoon, which is the serving amount, whereas all the other MCT oils that I've looked at have 130 calories per tablespoon. I would personally rather use the one that has less calories. If you want to look up our brand, it is called Zero Drag. Zero Drag. You are not required to buy that from us. I just like to tell it because that's the one I like the best. So medium chain triglyceride, Zero Drag. So medium chain triglycerides have burn up like this. Boom, boom, they're burn up. In fact, I have to tell you this, when you are cooking with this in a pan, you need to cook on low to medium heat because it burns up so fast it will set off your smoke detector. So low to medium heat in your pan. We are going to use medium chain triglycerides for 3 reasons only. Cooking in a pot or a pan, as an oil in a recipe, and as a salad dressing if you want to make salad dressings with it. 3 reasons. So many people have made bulletproof coffee with it. They put it in their shakes. They ask me if they should take it as a supplement because they're hearing me say these good things about it. But you don't ever have to get it in, okay? You're only going to use it for cooking in a recipe or if you want to make a salad dressing with it. It does burn up quickly and it has other great properties. So a lot of times I get asked the question, why would I choose to use medium chain triglyceride that has 100 calories or more in it versus a 0-calorie cooking spray? Well, that's because medium chain triglyceride has really great properties. 2 of the ones that are important to us are it has a muscle preserving effect. And we want to preserve our muscle and access stored energy and burn that off, not burning muscle. It also has a metabolism building effect. So it actually helps you burn a few extra calories, but not so much that you need to take it as a supplement, put it in your coffee or put it in a shake. The other reason that you don't put it in a coffee or shake is because it's still a fat, right? It's still a fat, but it's a good fat. A coffee is a pre-digested drink. There's nothing in that to slow down fat absorption. There's nothing in it, these things to slow that down. So we just don't do that. Now, let me tell you when I do use these. I use medium chain triglycerides when I'm cooking a lean protein. When I'm cooking a protein plus fat, I use 0-calorie cooking spray because there's already fat in there. I don't need to add fat to that. So let me just give you a little example. If I were cooking egg whites, I would drizzle some MCT oil in my pan. I probably wouldn't use a whole tablespoon. It'd probably drown the egg whites. But if I was cooking whole eggs, there's already fat in there. I would just use 0-calorie cooking spray. And I hope this makes sense. I think I have Alice, we don't want you to do that. So Alice, you don't need to do that, okay? So just use water in your Mighty Muffin. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that so I can edit that. All right, so now you've heard me talk about EFB earlier. EFB is efficient fat burning. Efficient fat burning, and that's what we're striving for. After you have one perfect day on your calendar, you're going to see a green check. So once you've journaled that you had a perfect day in what we call your timing chart, you're going to see a green check. On your second perfect day, you're going to see a green check. On your third perfect day, you're going to see a flame, and you are an EFB, baby. EFB, efficient fat burning. Who would want to burn fat inefficiently? Let's do it efficiently. Okay, so we're going to be having these perfect days, but I do want you to know you are living a life, and a holiday, whether it is planned or unplanned, is coming. Okay, but this is part of the management system of Shibboleth. We don't have to let those holidays roll into holidays that roll into holidays that get us in trouble. What we do is we enjoy that holiday, that celebratory time, anniversaries, birthdays, actual holidays that are on the calendar. We enjoy them, but we get right back to our perfect days. It's simply a management system to help us have a balanced life. Now, after a holiday, it takes 2 perfect days to get us back into efficient fat burning. And so you'll see a little smiley face guy on your timing chart that you've marked as a holiday. And then after that, green check, flame. Then you want to string as many efficient fat burning days together as you can. Let's have a flame streak in there. And what's happening is your body is having to access stored energy to get its energy. Well, all stored energy is fat. That's what we want to do. We want to access that. We want to use that as the energy that we need. See, if we're giving our body unapproved oils and unapproved starchy or sugary carbs, our body, just like human beings, we're going to take the path of least resistance on things. Our body is going to access that oil, or it's going to access those unapproved oil or unapproved starchy and sugary carbs for its energy. And it's not going to be going to the stored energy that we're trying to access. That's what we want to do. So we got to access that stored energy. Just get that in your mind that you're accessing stored energy. I did have somebody ask me one time, she goes, I'm really tired. Is it normal to be tired? Oh, and by the way, she got over that tiredness and sent me a picture last week that she's lost 29 pounds. So that is awesome. But she says, I'm really tired. Is that normal? I said, I just want to give you the good news that if you're slightly tired this week, that means your body is doing what it needs to, and you will get over it. But guess what? It's hard to access that stored energy. We get our body into that EFB, and it's like, wait a minute, where's the easy stuff? And it has to access that stored energy. You might feel a little tired, but just go give it a couple of days, it'll go over, and you can do what she did and lose 29 pounds. So just to recap what the fat bus is, the fat bus is insulin. So it literally would go around and pick up any fat lipids that are in your body at the same time as insulin is out. So it's a growth hormone, and it's focused on fat storage. So it has a job. Its job is to regulate blood sugar, but when your blood sugar is too high, but it's like a distracted hormone. If it sees fat, it's going to go get it. So after an insulin release, fat storage will occur for up to 48 hours. That's where we get the 2 days from. After we have a holiday, it takes 2 days to get back into efficient fat burning. And that fat storage can occur for up to 48 hours, meaning you're out of EFB, okay? But after 2 perfect days, you're back into EFB. And listen to this bullet point right here. Insulin also increases appetite. How many of you have ever had a holiday of some sort or a regular day before Shibboleth, and you ate ice cream. And then after the ice cream, you wanted something salty. So you went and had some chips. After that, you wanted something sour. So you went and had some pickles. And then after that, you're like, wait a minute, I want some more ice cream. See, insulin sets off this nasty appetite increase. And it's difficult. So we just want to realize that's what's happening and try not to do that. But the reason I make this point is because after a holiday, if you're slightly hungry the next day, you're just going to have to tell yourself, oh no, I'm getting back to my perfect days and my efficient fat burning. Insulin is increasing my appetite. That's why I feel a little hungry. And then just after the fat bus has been on its rounds, 2 perfect days to get back into EFB. Now you might be wondering, what am I going to eat this week? I did do a little live webinar in the Shibboleth new member fast track group today that shows you how to use the meal plan and generator, and I posted that in there. So you can look at that to give you some ideas. But really what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start looking at the food library, and we have a very simple food library for new members, but you need to make a list of your favorite 7 lean proteins and a list of 7 fibrous carbs, and just play mix and match. Keep it real simple in the beginning. My first meal at night was a chicken and cauliflower, and then I had chicken and cauliflower the next night. And then I think I might have had 96% lean ground beef patty with green beans. I can't really remember, but guess what? What I ate for my first 20 days is in the announcements marked at the top of the Shibboleth new member fast track group. So all you have to do is go in there and have a look, and it'll give you an idea of what I ate. It's not a magical meal plan, okay? But I did lose, I think, 12.5 pounds in that 20 days. And I did eat a lot of Mighty Muffins, Miss Alice. I ate a lot of Mighty Muffins. In fact, I probably ate 30. But that's a meal replacement. And the reason I ate so many was, 1, they tasted good. 2, I knew they were keeping me in EFB. And 3, I was satisfied. And 4, they were helping me stay safe while I was grasping the whole lifestyle. And so you just want to mix and match some of those whole foods to make lean protein and fibrous carb meals. If you have the MCT, you can use that. If you don't have MCT, you can use one of those others. You can also use 0-calorie cooking spray, water, chicken bouillon, whatever you're cooking, you can use those. Throw in a few meal replacements like I did for simplicity. Not everybody cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. You're going to need a few things for simplicity. Many of us were eating Pop-Tarts, cereal, all that kind of thing. This is where those meal replacements will come in handy. They will give you the fiber that you need, the protein that you need, and it's all packaged up in a nice little meal. So throw in those. And then keep it real simple, and then you continue to branch out as you continue to learn the lifestyle, all right? And then last slide, I want to make sure that you take advantage of our awesome resources. So as you know, and I'm sure everybody listening right now knows, that Shibboleth is run as a ministry first and foremost. We really don't charge that much to get in, but you are going to get immeasurable value, because if you allow it to change your life, you cannot measure that. That is priceless. But Travis put so much into it. I put so much into it. Our mentors do. Sasha, all of us do. Okay, so we want to, and even our members put a lot into helping members. You should watch that silver group, man. They help each other so much. So speaking of that, make sure you're in our Facebook support groups. All right. Familiarize yourself with our awesome website. The reason that you are going to go through our fast track laps this week, and I'm going to show you how to access that just so you're not confused, is that is a map. It's kind of like, I used to be a school teacher, so I like little things like a web quest, like makes you find things on the website, because if you have to do the act of finding these things on the website, it helps you learn. So it's like a little map to help you prepare for your best start. So, and it'll also help you familiarize yourself with our awesome website. I do want you to schedule a getting started mentor appointment or a meal planning appointment. You can schedule it right here at this link. There's also a link to that in the lap 7 of the fast track laps. And the reason that's important is because you want to talk with another person who's been where you are, who's overcome, and they want to nothing more than to see you succeed. But I do suggest that you plan this appointment, unless you just desperately need it this week. I suggest that you plan it next week, The reason I say that is because I want you to do the fast track week before you plan that with your mentor. That way y'all can have the most intelligent conversation that you can about this topic. If they're having to spend their whole time educating you on what you could have educated yourself on using the fast track laps this week, this will not be a good use of both of your time. But if you'll go through this week, and then next week they can answer any questions that you just still have or help you with meal plans, that would be a better appointment. I hope that makes sense. I want you to focus in on the fast track this week by participating in the laps and checking out the daily posts in Facebook. So welcome to the Shibboleth family. We are here for you. We are so glad that you are here. Okay. Okay, y'all. Well, some of y'all dropped off. But anyway, I don't know what happened to my internet, but I'm back. So we're going to share the screen. And if you don't know where the fast track laps are, if yours aren't just popping up for you directly, you're going to click on dashboard. Once you click on dashboard, it's going to pull up. If you're brand new, it's going to show you fast track and instructors only. Okay. But once you have completed the fast track, you'll have an additional dashboard pop up. Also, once you have completed the fast track, your full website opens up to you. So right now you're going to have a very basic food library, but it'll open up to you once you finish that. So this is where your fast track is. You just click right there. And once you've completed the laps, like I've already completed them, so they show up like that. And you would just click on a lap to make it reappear. But this is what I want you to focus in on this week. And, like if you could do lap 1 today, if you haven't done it already, you could do it today. Otherwise, you can work in and out of these laps at your own leisure, because some of these have some real easy little tasks that you can do, and you could just go and do them. This is a video of me showing you how to do each of these little things, okay? So you'll just want to do those. Once you have done them, you check the box and it will save. Now this little I right here, this little pop-up menu, I wrote that like I would be talking to you if you were on the phone with me. So if you're reading this at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're doing this, I answered the little black pop-up would be like if you called me and said, hey, what does this mean? That's what the black pop-up is. So read that, and then you're going to click right here. Once you click on these ones, it's going to take you right where you need to be in the website. But because sometimes those clicks take us deep into the website, to get back to your laps, just click the dashboard again. Just click the dashboard again, and you'll be back at your laps, all right? And then obviously you have already registered for this class here with me, and I hope you've already registered for tomorrow night's class. So you should be able to come and click this right here. You can click this one, because all this task was to do was to register for them. But if you go over into lap 2, you're participating in the Sunday Night Live webinar right now. you can go ahead and click that one off. And those of you that are watching this later, this is on demand for you. This would be the recording of it. So there you go. So I just want you to work your way through those, and then you're going to watch this little video to show you what to do, make sure that you understand. And then, actually, I should have just shared something different. I want you to go into the Shibboleth new member fast track group if you are not a member of that group, because each day a post is going to come out at about 5:30 in the morning, just reminding you to go to that page and do your laps. It's also going to let you know if you have a perfect day tomorrow and then Tuesday that you're in EFB on Wednesday. And I also want you to not get overwhelmed at all. It might seem like a lot, but four out of those 5 don't even have to do with food. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and copy this and put it in the chat. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Katinka. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my internet. It went out for a second. It doesn't usually happen, but it did. But if you are not in this group right here, you need to be in this group. And so a little post will come out. In fact, at 9:15, a post is going to come out tonight linking this linking this webinar and this presentation. Let's see. And we're about to hop off. All right. Well, we're going to head off tomorrow. Y'all ask lots of questions and come prepared with your questions. I know that tonight was really kind of an overview, but if you'll come tomorrow with your questions prepared, we will get those answered. I truly believe that you could have a perfect day tomorrow, even if it's just brand new. Just kind of do something real simple. Look at the, look at that. Let me share this again. I'm sorry. I keep sharing stuff because I don't want y'all to miss anything. So when you're in the fast track group, if you click on announcements, see where it says see all, if you click right there and you just kind of scroll down a little bit. This is a worksheet that we did on the Shibby show in the morning, which kind of gives you some ideas to how to work through. But this is what I was wanting you to see. This just shows you what I ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you might want to look at that just to give yourself some ideas. And there's 2 pages of that. There's another one. And then today, all those things that are in the announcements, you really should watch, okay? And look at them because they're there. I keep them there. And here's that Shibboleth Origins video. But today I did a post. Oh, and here's a link on my favorite meal replacements. Somebody asked me to do that one time. So there's all my favorite meal replacements. Well, my top 10 I like a lot. But today I posted, well, I guess that's all in the announcements. Let's go back to the home of it. There we go. So this was me showing you earlier today how to do the meal plan generator. And this was the meal plan that I created with it. So maybe that can give you some ideas for what you can eat tomorrow. But even if you don't get it exactly right tomorrow with the food, if you go ahead and start getting that water in, start journaling, portion controlling and timing that out with not grazing and 4 to 6 hours, you're going to have results from just that. Awesome. Awesome. So y'all check out those things. We don't want to leave you with any questions about what you should eat. Okay. And in your, in the lap system, it tells you to check out the 10 blue links right above the fast track videos that you're going to be watching this week. And there's 14 little fast track videos. They take you less than 1 hour to watch them all. But those blue links, you want to click on there because those are some meal ideas too. All right, heading off. Y'all have a great, see you tomorrow night.